think, yeah, I'm recording. Sorry. I can't believe I've just did this. Hiya guys, how are you all doing? Uh, this video popped up on my YouTube feed, so I wanted to watch it. So yeah, I sat and I've been watching it for a good 10-15 minutes and giving commentary and stuff, and I just realised I wasn't even bloody recording. So I'm gonna have to rewatch it again, but it's good. It's good because it gives me a bit of time to digest it a little bit more. But I want to watch this with you because I think it's important as to what's happening in our. I just think it's important as to what's happening in America, in my country, the UK, and how we're basically sleepwalking into, I believe, our own annihilation, basically. It's called Dear Infidels, A Warning to America, and this is a documentary. So I don't know who made this. See the channel there, but I don't know if they did. I'll put it up. Go and check their channel and that out. But yeah, let's just get into this.
What I have been trained to fight against is radical Islam. This ideology is willing to bring death and
See, when you just see that outfit, we see it every week here in the UK now. Every Saturday that they get out their Hamas cosplay, and it's unbelievable the amount of hatred that we're seeing on British streets, especially towards British Jews. The Jews that they're not even from Israel. Just because they're Jews, it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful that more of us. Because I've been watching a lot of videos lately on Israelis and what they feel, how the world is looking at them at the moment, and I see a lot of disheartenment from them, and it makes me feel so sad because I don't think what they do see is that I would say a vast majority. I'll speak for Britain. I can speak for Scotland. Of Scots support. They support the Jews and they support Israel, but on the streets of London, and you have to remember that London is it's 70, if not more, percent migrant kind of city now. So there's very few Indigenous Brits live in London now. So these massive marches are happening in Britain, and the people that are going on them it's normally the people that don't have roots here. They don't have ancestry. They don't have scores of ancestors buried here. They don't have they can't look into their lineage. They don't feel like they have no. They just feel like they owe us nothing. That we're a stain, a scourge, and colonial, and so yeah, they've got no allegiance to the UK whatsoever, nothing, and it's clear to see that. And for some reason, the far left, have teamed up with these people, these radical Islamists, and it's so weird because you know how it's having now really looking into the Quran and the Hadiths and what they are really what I understand of them now. These people would be the first people to go. They would literally turn they're for one they're infidels. You're not a Muslim, so you would be as soon as they got rid of us. You would be the first to go. In fact, because you'd be closest to them. But yeah, so what I was saying there was like, so I say, look, the Israelis and a lot of the Jews like thinking that you see like these massive marches and that happen in London, and they think like the world's went against them, and that's just not true. It's not true, and it's a shame because like our governments are just they're snakes, absolute snakes, where they'll go with the majority that's been shown on the mainstream media, which is left leaning. They'll curtail to them, and because we've got an election in America, you've got an election coming up, so they'll. So the mob that seems to be the loudest now is the far left and the Islamists, and us being like the silent majority needs to stop being silent now, because we can't afford to be. We can't be silent. You have to pick a side now. You can't be on the fence about this anymore. It's a problem, and it's going to be a problem, and unless we want to, I mean, I hear like people saying like, no, I don't hear people saying, I know this is to be a fact, but that there's like only 16, is it? I might be wrong that figure. Million Jews in the world. Well, there's only 6 million Scots total, and if you even factor in take away 1 million of them, that have not Indigenous Scottish people that have like been here for generations. So we'll take 1 million of them that are not Indigenous to Scotland. So like it's only we'll be conservatively 5 million then. 5 million Scottish people, like that's my people. So there's only 5 million of us in the world, and like we're walking straight into our own extinction. I feel like I can't believe like I'm even seeing this happen in the UK. I can't. So yeah, let's go on with this.
Destruction to our way of life.
Even if there's 1 or 2 radicals, you're going to be able to change the perceptions of, 10, 20, 30,000, 40,000.
I see the different groups that are protesting to free Palestine. You're showing your ignorance because these people wouldn't accept you.
I've seen how messed up what you're trying to champion for really is.
Shame on you for glorifying terrorism.
Yet you're here in this beautiful country protesting for a cause that you'd be murdered for over there because you're infidels.
What Hamas has perpetrated is a crime against humanity. Who dares use my religion to prosecute its
They hate
genocide.
America and the West because we believe in freedom, and it's absolutely terrifying.
And that was a young soldier that burned himself alive, and he did that for Palestine. And then you go on Twitter, it was heartbreaking what he did. He had mental health problems, and you see these radical Islamists like laughing about him killing himself, saying that it doesn't matter, he's burning in hell and stuff because he's an infidel. They don't care that he did that. Like they celebrate that he did that. It's one less infidel for them to get rid of. Plus, he's a member of the American military. Like military members are fair game in their eyes, So, yeah. This is a warning to America. Can Eunice?
Before you know my name, you have to know my story. When I was little, I used to get candy from the Israeli soldiers. I ate one and it was so good, so I took the wrapper and showed it to my father and asked him to buy them for me. Why? It's forbidden to take from the Jews. There's poison in it. If you eat it, you will die. He said Jews kill children, women, and men. They lied to me. At age 7, I used to go to an UNRWA school run by the United Nations. I wanted to become a doctor. I wanted to help people. A respected teacher came. He said to us, "Listen, children, you must kill the Jews."
It's unbelievable to hear that. Like, so this is an UNRWA school, a UN, United Nations school. Shows you how corrupt the United Nations really is. Like, how utterly corrupt they are. And the fact that our tax money from our countries go to fund that, to fund the murder of innocent Jewish people.
Jews have 3 legs and an eye in the middle of their forehead. He said to us, anyone who slaughters a Jew will go to heaven. You will kill Israelis and kill Americans. Why should we kill Americans? They are not Muslim. All the children in school would chant, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, and recite the Bismillah prayer. Kill the Jews, kill America. Kill the Jews, kill America. I didn't feel good. I told the teacher that I wanted to leave.
He's got such like a kind face as well. Like, you can tell he's just like a gentle soul. Like, he just, yeah. And this is what they're being taught: kill America, kill the Jews, kill Christians.
He took me outside to get some air. 10 minutes later, my father came to my class and hit me. And he said to me, slaughter the Jews. It hurt a lot.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? I've heard that abuse is rife through Gaza. Hussab Hussein Youssef, he's even said this in an interview as well, that it's rife. So
it hurt a lot. And he said to me, when you get home, I'll be waiting.
Serving in Iraq, I've never seen hatred like.
Is Shani? I think that the first clip was Shani's body that was being rolled around Gaza. You know, like it's either on the 7th or the day after the 7th of October. Who was an Israeli girl whose body they've just found her. She'd been murdered, and her body was stripped, and it was badly deformed and stuff. Like, it looked like her leg bones had been broken, and the innocent Gazans were spitting on her body and hitting her body with sticks and chanting Allahu Bloody Akbar. You know, if two words ever run a chill down my spine, it's hearing that Allahu Akbar.
And some of the people, they had this belief in this greater cause to, install a caliphate, return to the glory of Islam. First of all, like, the vast majority of Muslims are fantastic people.
Yeah,
they just
true.
want to worship their own way, but you have...
True. As I've said before, I've got Muslim friends, but yeah, I have to even admit, like, speaking to one of them who was, like, I don't know, I've had to, like, kind of push our friendship aside a little bit, because some of the views that he's espoused to me, sorry, I have to sit up, regarding Jewish people, shocked me to hear him say these words. I was shocked. He told me, like, it's not a secret that Jews are hated. And then I'm like, but what about the text in the Quran about Christians? And I think I've told you the story before that. His family can't ever know that we were friends because I'm a Christian and he's Muslim. But when I started speaking to him more about stuff and going on in Gaza and like, yeah, I feel terrible for anybody that's dying needlessly. I was extremely concerned to hear his views regarding Jewish people. It made me so uncomfortable. So I've had to kind of pull away because, yeah, that's just not how I feel at all. And I don't know if I can be friends with someone that would be happy for no, I know for a fact I can't be friends with someone that will happily wipe out another race of people in the name of their God. No.
Extremists indoctrinate the youth and young men in particular. You know, you have an economic downturn and you have people living in poverty. Those are ripe targets for radical ideas. What you can and can't do are dictated by the teachings of some imam. And that's terrifying to me.
My father was dressed in the clothing worn by Hamas. I was afraid.
Wow. So that's the Hamas starter kit, which we see every weekend now on the streets of London. It's absolutely infuriating, and that's I'm glad to see that more the Jewish community are trying to come out and fight against that, but they're still just a small minority compared to the Islamists and the far left, and they're British people, and many of them like have been here for centuries. Like they can actually trace their lineage like centuries. Not recent immigrants, not just a few decades back, you know. And these are our British brothers and sisters, like, so we've got to like stand up for them and speak out and say that not on our streets, like this isn't happening. You're not gonna like pick on people because they're of their race, because they're Jews. No way. We wouldn't allow it for black people. We wouldn't think it is acceptable if it was Asian people. We wouldn't accept it if it was Indian. I don't care like where you're from. It's just not acceptable to pick on anybody because it's a characteristic that they have no control over.
He hit me over and over. He wanted me to become a martyr, to kill Jews. I turned red, then white. I was terrified.
לחנך את הילדים שלהם על אהבה, על העתיד. פשוט לרצוח יהודים, נוצרים. בכל הכוח. מי שלא רוצה, אין דבר כזה שלא רוצה. אין דבר כזה שילד...
I want to stress, trust. See, when these people are telling you, and their book tells you, because and don't care if you get called Islamophobic. Islam is not a race. It's an ideology, a political ideology. So you should be allowed to critique it. You should absolutely be allowed to critique a text that calls for the death of you. And to see like the useful idiots like wearing these stupid the Hamas starter kits week in, week out, chanting along these queers for Palestine and reproductive rights for Palestine and climate alarmists for Palestine. What the hell are you talking about? Do you realise that you'd be thrown off a building if you were in Palestine?
יש לו בחירה חופשית. לא, בכוח. וזה עצוב, כן. תחשבו רגע, כאילו, הילדים של היום, של ילדים, זה מחבלים של מחר. זה המסלול, זה החינוך. זה בבית, בבית הספר, בשכונה. זה מאוד עצוב, כן. מאוד עצוב.
And God, that horrendous Palestinian children's TV show with their fake Mickey Mouse. It's disgraceful.
طيب انا سمعت هم بيجي عليكم كل يوم.
بس هسه لا.
طيب اسمع يا صديقي، اعمل ايدك هيك.
مخيط.
لما يجي عندكم اضربهم بوكس. خلي وجهه بنضاره.
والله عشان نحرر فلسطين.
طيب على العموم يا روان.
I grew up in Nahariya, which is a Jewish town in northern Israel. I was raised as Muslim, to believe in Allah, which is God, to believe in the Prophet Muhammad. There was a lot of fear about what would happen to you if you're not following all the directions that you're receiving in the Quran and the teachings of the Nabi Muhammad.
لا انه نعمل حرب انه نفرجي اليهود انه احنا مش انه احنا مش شاطرين، احنا قوايا كمان.
يعني انهم بيعلمونا بالمدرسه انهم ارهابيين
بيحكوا لنا عن اليهود انهم هدول مش مناح وهدول بقتلوا قاعدين بشبابنا.
They're either Muslims or infidels. America is not good. America is Satan. Israel is not good. The Jews are not good. They brainwash you from a very, very, very young age. Very young age. Against the Jews, against America, against the West, against the infidels, against everything that is not us, everything that is not Islam. I think the extremists, they're misinterpreting parts of the Quran. Someone can read the Quran and sees that God is angry on the Jewish people. And some might read this as a justification. God is angry on them. And it's okay for me to go and just kill them. My friend, my very best friend, someone like me, was able to be convinced to become a suicide bomber. All she needed probably is a bomb. And she would go and do it. I saw how terrorists are being made. They're not being made in some dungeon in Afghanistan. And they're not national movement for Palestine. They're a religious movement that want to transform the Middle East and the entire...
You're listening to this lefties. This is a Palestinian woman. This is like, I don't know if she's still a practicing Muslim. This is someone from this region telling you exactly what these people want and what they want to do to you. And when these people are telling you that they want to turn your country into a Sharia state, they want to kill infidels, believe them.
World into an Islamic state, but it will go to Europe, it will go to America. They would kill anyone who went against them.
What is that? Pulse nightclub. Oh God, yeah. So when some Islamists went into a nightclub, didn't they, and killed people because they were gay.
Bismillah, Allahu Akbar.
I was an enlisted guy at SEAL Team 4. I did 7 deployments to the Middle East. The military had refocused a lot of their special operations to conduct village stability operations, VSPs. We came into a village and there was just blood everywhere. They had just finished stoning this little girl. The son had fornicated outside of their societal structure, and they couldn't punish the son because he was the oldest son carrying that name, so they had to punish the oldest daughter. So they stoned her to death. That was my first interaction when it comes to this extremist view of Islam. Whether you're Muslim or not, you would have to abide by Sharia law, these Islamist rules that are established.
My best friend, he's closer to me than family, is a Sunni from Mosul, Iraq, who now is the U.S. citizen. His brother was murdered by radical Al-Qaeda elements because he believed in freedom. And that's what I think chilled me to the core, was that a group of intelligent young men could become so radicalized and filled with so much hate like I've never seen.
I feel like you can't afford to not believe, because like you're so scared of what is going to happen to you if you don't. So people who believe in jihad, everything must be Muslim. America, the Western values, they must be stopped, destroyed. And we teach that as something that is...
No, like useful idiots. The Trojan horse is in the camp, isn't it? And now we've got something in Britain now, something called the Muslim vote. I can't even believe that. If there was anything called the Christian vote, Catholic vote, Jewish vote, oh God, you'd be called a far-right extremist. But yeah, we've got the Muslim vote now, who are... I don't even know if I want to even speak about this at the moment, because I don't want to speak about it because we've got the elections coming up, but I don't know if this is the right video, so...
Glorified, just... No. No.
I went with my father to work in Israel. Why did I go to Israel? So that I could see the Jews with their 3 legs. I saw a Jew and I looked to see where his 3rd leg was. They lied to me. I worked in a construction site that belonged to a contractor. At night I would make sure no thieves came. After a month and a half, a Jewish man came. He had a yarmulke on his head. He brought me food, clothes, toys. This made me happy. I actually felt happy. And Nissim taught me to speak, write, and read in Hebrew. Nissim was the principal of a school. Just so you understand, the principal of a school in Han Yunis, Gaza, told me to slaughter the Jews, while a Jewish principal brought me food, clothes, toys.
I was in 7th grade. The second Intifada started. Armed violence. And our Islamist teacher would teach us that it is glorified what all these martyrs or shaheeds are doing, the suicide bombers. If you're a Jew, you're not innocent. If you're Israeli, you're not innocent. Even if you're a baby, you should be dead.
All of the well-known terrorists were from my city. They were my neighbors.
And again, we see the stupid, useful idiots along with these people that would happily see us dead, chanting an Afada. We see it in America, seen it in the streets of Britain, chanting for a global Intifada. And I think to myself, like, these are meant to be the next generation of leaders and, you know, scientists, doctors, whatever. These are meant. These are our best and brightest at universities, and surely they can't be so stupid. And you realise they actually are, and then you realise, oh God, these are meant to be our next politicians and, you know, the next generation, and you think, oh, we're really fucked. Sorry about the swearing there, but we're fucked. If this is like, I suppose, like, the Islamists will get rid of them pretty fast. But I don't see, I see, like, a lot of support, like for protests for Sharia law and stuff like that. And I know Sharia means law in Arabic, so saying Sharia law sounds stupid. It's law, isn't it? For Sharia, and I think to myself, like, can you imagine how horrendous it would be to, like, I don't think the British people would take that line down, but it would be a horrendous place to live in, that we would then actually be fighting Islamists on the streets of Britain. I know the Scots people wouldn't allow it to happen. Absolutely not. I don't see any Palestinian flags about here. You've got across the road, I've got a guy, it's flags, his Scottish flag, see a couple of maybe Union Jacks, but nope, not Palestinian flags. They wouldn't last long at all. We don't even like, in Scotland, we're not even big on, even though I think it's crazy that the St George flag isn't, like, it's crazy what's happening in England with the St George flag, but they should absolutely be allowed to fly their flag. It's a Christian flag, and I know the reason why it's going down like it is. You just have to look it up on the internet. It's because it's Islamists. They don't like it because because of the Crusades, where the Christian armies fought against and pushed back Islamic armies to try and obviously take Jerusalem for their Christian leaders. So that was that was one time Christians were fighting Muslims. But it's just unbelievable. But so they can't have their St George's flag yet. All over England, you see everywhere steeped in Islamic crap and Palestine bloody crap and.
Terrorists between the ages of 16 and 30 put explosives on their bodies and entered Israel. Every day there was a terrorist attack. Every day there were dozens of Jews killed. Understandably, with other Arabs, I was expelled from Israel back to Gaza.
Like the occupation, this is when Israel, I mean, thousands of Israelis were being murdered by suicide bombers, and being stabbed and shot. So therefore they expelled the Gazans back into Gaza and put up the checkpoints. And I can absolutely understand that happening. It's screw that. I mean, if you've got a culture living next to you that just happily murder you, you're gonna like try and protect your own citizens. Throw up like some army checkpoints, stuff like that. We'd do it in Britain. We'd do it here. We did do it here when stuff was going on in Ireland. We'd done it here. So, calling it an occupation, like there's a reason. Like just think to yourself, like what's the reason that Egypt doesn't let these people in? There's reasons for this. What's the reason Jordan doesn't let them in? Look up like Black September. They tried to murder the Jordanian king when he put out his hand in kindness and allowed some of the Palestinians into his country. They murdered half his people and annihilated his army. Had to go to India to borrow soldiers to push these radical nut jobs out his country. Same with Egypt. There might be like bomb explosions and. There's a reason. There's a massive reason why countries like Saudi Arabia, like they're always. I don't agree with their policies, and I think they're so I just don't. I just despise living in a Sharia country, but But even with those countries, there's reasons why. There's a firm reason why they don't want the Palestinian people. There's a reason. And it's because, maybe, even, even other Muslim countries are thinking these people just went a step too far. Are they savable at this point? I'm even thinking that. I'm even thinking it, and it's horrible to sit and think that, where you think to yourself, because obviously every soul is savable. Every soul is savable, but can you reteach these people to coexist because Israel's not going anywhere. But and if they didn't manage to annihilate Israel, then we know that we'd be next. They don't plan on just stopping in the Middle East. They're calling in Germany right now. In Germany is now calling out for a caliphate. The Muslims there are calling out for a Sharia caliphate. German Prime Minister has said that he would. Can you even believe this? They would happily arrest the Jewish Prime Minister. Germany. They need to shut their mouths. After what happened with the Holocaust, Germany should be the very, very last people that should be weighing in on this conversation. I'm sorry if there's any Germans subscribers and that, but no, I'm sorry, German. You don't have you can't weigh on this. No way, absolutely not. It's too soon. It's too soon.
Islam is to govern all aspects, social, political, private aspects of everybody's life. But extremist Muslims, Islamism in a multicultural environment like the United States, like the West, where immigration is just constantly moving and shifting, it just doesn't work.
Our strengths are also our weaknesses, right? So
Exactly. And the figures have just came out in Britain, and we've allowed over 700,000 net migration, legal migration into the UK so far this year. 100,000 illegals. Millions pouring over the American border. And what that guy just said there, our strength is our weakness. They're using our own democracy against us like a Trojan horse. They're using our kindness, compassion, empathy, Christian nature against us.
They know we welcome people from all walks of life, but the risk of that is we welcome everybody.
Here's what these former FBI guys write. Military-aged men from across the globe, many from countries or regions not friendly to the United States, are landing in waves on our soil by the thousands.
With unchecked immigration, or naive in thinking that they're not going to try to take advantage of that. I mean, I've had these conversations, with a really high-ranking Al-Qaeda guy. This guy lived in America, was captured in Iraq. His children were born in America. And he was explaining it to me like, yeah, we want to kill you all. You're either going to convert or you're going to die. We want to have worldwide Sharia law. What easier way to do that than infiltrate the West and indoctrinate the young minds?
I'm so glad that people are finally seeing it. Oh, I'm so glad that people's eyes, if anything, the useful idiots on the pro-Palestine marches have done is that we took our eye off the ball. We didn't because you think in Britain and the US that you believe in religious freedom and stuff like that. So you don't really care, if someone's praying to, obviously I'm not going to pray to no, but they think if they want to pray to this god or whatever, that's up to them. It's what they do is their business. It's nothing to do with me. But because we're seeing so much Islamists on our street now, it's now making people that wouldn't, like myself, that wouldn't have looked into Islam and tried to and looked into their book, their Quran and their Prophet, it's making us check it out now, because we're hearing stuff being chanted on our streets, and we're curious to find out what it means. And we're realising now, what it actually means, and we're thinking to ourselves, oh shit, what have we let into our country?
People in the West are asleep. All what I described is actually a warning. And as someone who grew up in the Middle East, I know what I'm seeing. It scares me. You see college students protesting against things that they don't understand what they're protesting for.
Is there something that NYU is doing?
I really don't know. I'm pretty sure they're... Do you know what NYU is doing? About what? About Israel. Why are we protesting here?
Palestine will be free!
I wish I was more educated.
They're calling intifada. They don't even know what intifada means. They're calling from the river to the sea. They don't know what river and what sea.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free!
How did we get to this place where the best of the best in our generation is not asking the critical questions?
I just read Osama bin Laden's letter to America.
Osama bin Laden's letter to America explaining why he attacked Americans.
Terrorism has been sold as this idea to the American people.
The terrorists are people. Everything he said was valid.
They're not attacking. They are what the fuck? People are crying over Osama bin Laden's. They attack Americans. Americans are crying over that bastard's letter. He murdered 3,000 of your people, and you're sitting there squeezing out a tear for that bastard. I'm sorry I'm swearing, but that's angered me. That's really angered me. Fuck Osama bin Laden. I hope he's rotting in hell somewhere. With Hitler and Judas Iscariot. Bloody hell, I can't believe it. Bloody hell.
America physically, but they're attacking the mind of America. They're taking over the mind.
Do you think these protesters would survive under an Islamic state?
Oh, no. 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 The people who are protesting absolutely won't survive a day.
Why?
Are they Muslims? Are they practicing Islam? Are they willing to kill other people for Islam? Are they women who want to have rights? Traitors or non-believers are hung in the middle of the city or the town and thrown to the garbage.
Yeah, and I don't know how I'll feel when if this ever does switch that way, to see them marching all the blue-haired, pink-haired idiots into the town square to string them up. Will I be thinking, oh no, I won't be thinking. Obviously, it'll be extremely horrifying. But you'd be thinking it's jumping into the sea where there's a bloody sharks, and expecting them not to eat you.
I was expelled. They took me to court in Rehovot, Israel.
The sharks, though, it's that's in their nature. It's an animal they don't choose. It's they just see it as food, whereas these people are basically have a conscience and are choosing to do this.
I told the judge that I wanted to become Jewish and had been in Israel for 7 years. There were other Palestinians that were on trial. They heard everything and whispered in my ear, "Just wait, we're going to kill you." When I returned to Gaza, they put me in prison. A place of nightmares, hell on earth, darkness. And and they tortured me in the cruelest way possible. They wanted me to say again what they knew I had said in the courtroom in Rehovot. I heard what you said in Rehovot, that you've been in Israel for 7 years and you wanted to become Jewish. I prayed to God for him to take me. I didn't have any way to kill myself, so every time I prayed that he'd take me. For 6 months, they tortured me every day.
I feel so bad for him.
I'm sorry.
קשה לי. עד היום, בתוך שנה אני קופץ וצורך, כי זה חוזר אליי כל פעם מחדש.
When the Palestinian intelligence services brought me home, my father said that I was not his son and that he doesn't have children who are traitors. And he told me that if I wanted to honor my family, I would have murdered some Jews. I left Gaza and I left my old name, Ayman Abu Subukh, behind. I returned to Nissim and he helped me throughout my journey to convert from beginning to end. I called myself Dor Shahar. The meaning of Dor is a generation of peace and love, and Shahar means a new day. That's what I wanted, a world of love.
These are the Palestinian people that could save Gaza. You know, like in Mossab Youssef, the son of one of the creators of Hamas, this guy, that woman that was being interviewed. These are the Palestinians that could take, but the society is just so radical that these people are very few and far between.
And peace. But make no mistake, it's not just the Jews who are considered infidels, but also you Americans. This is a religious war. You have to understand, the problem is not just in Gaza. It just starts with us in Israel, and then it will come to you.
I don't think Americans should see it as this issue that's across the waters.
We are naive and we have our head buried in the sand if we don't think that is going to come here. Yeah. You have people flooding in a country, and you don't need a ton of radicals to indoctrinate more and more people.
Several hundred Americans that we know of have attached themselves to this extremist view of Islam.
A Kansas woman charged with providing material support to a terrorist organization.
This 18-year-old was on the verge of conducting a terror plot involving attacks on multiple churches in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
We live in one of the
They want sheep. They want people who are going to blindly follow. And you're already seeing the foundation starting to crumble a bit because we can't have civil dialogue with each other without it becoming a shouting match or full of hatred. The next generation of Americans accept that as the norm. Now you're starting to establish a foothold in the West where that's the window of opportunity for more radical ideas that come in.
And Hamas is everywhere, right? Not only Hamas, ISIS is everywhere. These movements are everywhere.
And we will not stop until it enters every home.
This threat is imminent. We've just lost this sense of unity. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but we're getting to a point of no return.
America is super, super, super essential to the world. You're raising a generation that will change the society from the inside.
Well, it's right there in front of us. And I don't want those liberties, those opportunities, the freedom from fear to be lost.
Protect the Western values. Protect the human rights, which we all believe in, which we all enjoy. What happens if America is gone?
Now, there is nothing more important than to fight against this ideology and protect the America that we knew. The beacon of hope for the rest of the world.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. That's why I think it's extremely important that with this election coming up, because not many people they're mobilising a little political ideology now, getting a little foothold into our government, and it's like where it starts, and with this election coming up, that's why it's never been as important. British people have to get out there and vote, and we cannot be the silent majority anymore. You cannot just sit on the fence on this, because if you do, you're going to be strung up in the town square as an infidel. And with that, I'm going to go, guys. But I just thought it would be interesting to share this threes. It's because I just cannot believe when I see these leftist loons marching us into, but even the silent majority, because we're not saying anything about it, we're happily marching along as well, to be slaughtered. So yeah. Don't let this ideology take over our countries. Cannot happen. No, we want to enjoy the freedoms and the liberties and everything that democracy and our Christian values, or it doesn't matter what. I guess if you're Hindu, Jew, anything like that, you'll all be taken out. We've got to all basically band together now and realise this is a war that we're all in together. And it's starting with the Jews, yeah, but it won't end with them. It won't end. Alright, I'll speak to you guys later. Bye.